Good morning, students. Welcome to the computer network subject. I hope I am audible to you. This class, I am audible to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, as we covered the physical layer in the previous lecture, so I'm starting with the next layer, that is the data link layer. And all the students, you can mark your attendance by writing present in the chat box. So, starting with the data link layer, the first thing that come in our mind is framing, right? As we have already discussed in OSI ISO model, right? So framing basically allow us to distinguish from one frame to another frame. So that is the takeaway keyword for today's lecture. That why we are making use of framing, right? As we have the stream of data which is coming from the upper layer, right? And in that OSI ISO model, we know the second layer is the data link layer, right? So as we discussed the first layer, that is the physical layer, in which we have discussed the signals and digital data and analog signals, digital signals, and how we can represent them in a frequency and time domain, right? That we discussed in the previous class. So now the next one is the data link layer, right? As you can see, this data link layer, where what we are talking about frames, right? And why we are using frames? The keyword frame is basically allow us to distinguish one frame from another frame, right? So that we can work upon it. Otherwise, it will be continuous, and then it is very difficult to identify some errors, right? Because data link layer is responsible for error correction and error detection. That we will come to know in the next few slides. So over here, that is why it is written that data link layer needs to pack bits into frame. So needs to pack bits into frame means that data is coming, that bits is coming from the upper layer, right? And what is the upper layer? That is the network layer. So from the network layer, the bits that is being received by the data layer will be changed into frames, right? So we are packing them. That's why it is written over here. We are packing them and then we are making them into frames. And the purpose of frame is so that we can easily able to distinguish them and we can work upon that frame. Right? Work upon that frame means that uh, we need to identify some kind of issues such as there are noise, right? Because of that, because of attenuation, because of all these facts, what we can have a error in our stream of bits, right? So to identify that thing, that's why what we did is we segregate that with this frames, right? It is nothing but we have a starting point and we having an ending point, nothing else. So we have an indicator, we having an delimiter, which will tell us that okay, over here we have zeros, ones like this way, and over here this is one frame is over. Similarly, we have another frame like this, right? Now, if some error will come over here, like suppose this one is turned into zero and this zero is turned into one, so you can see there is an error. So since we have to work on into this frame only, we will easily identify this thing. So that is the reason why we are talking about frame, right? So just I'm reading out what it is written. The data link layer needs to pack bits into frame so that each frame is distinguishable from another. And I have already discussed why I'm talking about this thing, right? So one example, which is this author is trying to give us, which is our postal system practice, right? Just to compare this thing with the analogy of postal system. what we are doing, we are sending the letters to our friend, our colleagues, or to our relatives, right? So in that way, what we are saying is that we are doing the practice of framing. And how we are doing? Simply act of inserting a letter into an envelope. So that envelope, you can see, is acting as a delimiter, right? So that envelope basically holds letter, holds information, right? So what we are doing, we are separating out, and all that letter is in the post office. You can imagine, if that envelope is not there, then there is a chaos of mixing, right? That we don't want, because everyone is sending that letter. And in post office, if we don't have that envelope, then what will happen? We will not able to identify that which information need to be delivered to whom. You are getting? Yes. So in that way, the envelope is serving as a delimiter. That is the point. And the same fact we are trying to impose in this, where the stream of information which is coming from the upper layer need to be distinguished, need to be segregated, in a sense that we could be easily able to identify them, that over here, from this bit to this bit, that thing is for this purpose, and we have separated them out with the help of this kind of some kind of spatial bits, which will easily allow computer to identify that this is a one frame, and this one frame is ended over here. Now next frame is starting, and that frame is ended over here. Like this way, the sequence will keep on, and on the receiving side, what we will get, we will get the same thing, right? That envelope, the information is stored in that envelope, right? Now please understand, what we are doing in the sending side will benefit on the receiving side. How it will going to benefit the receiver? Try to understand. Because while moving in a medium, now as we know, let me clear the screen for you. As we know, in that medium, that we have wired and wireless medium in which our data is moving, right? So now the bits are moving, zeros and ones, which is going to be received by some receiver, right, over this side. And you will see now there is some method where we could be able to identify that, okay, no one has changed this thing, right? It could be done by some intruder, or it could be done automatically by some kind of noise, right? So there are different types of noise attenuations that we will learn in the few slides, later in the few slides. But yes, this may happen that that 01010 may change to something like this, but this is not the original data that we want to send to the sender. And this is happened because of some kind of attenuation, some kind of noise, or some kind of attack, right? So this is an error, right? And we need to identify this thing on the receiving side. So that's why I've said you that it is going to benefit the receiver, right? Whatever we are doing on the sending side, the framing that we are doing on the sending side is basically for receiver, that he could able to get the original data what sender has intended to send, right? And over here, once that stream of that bits which is converted to frame later on is now checked over here. Now what will receiver will do over here? Receiver will check this zeros and ones again over this side. And how he will do? He will make use of some methods, like one of the method which I am telling you right now, that is known as CRC, that is known as, please note it down, that is known as cyclic redundancy check. One more is there, that is Hamming code, right? So these are the few methods that receiver will apply on that frame. Now understand, now I hope you understood that why we need a frame. If frame is not there, then how we could able to know that? How we can able to apply this method on that, right? So that's why we need a frame so that we can distinguish from other information. Right? Now, once that cyclic redundancy check or Hamming code method is applied, then we will come to know that there is an error, and receiver, what we will do, receiver will reject that packet, simply reject that packet. If that information stored in that frame does not match with the information which is there in CRC after calculation, if that thing does not match, right? So received information, if not matching with CRC after calculation, then what we will do, the action must be taken, and that action says simply reject that packet. Don't process or forward it to the upper layer, that is the network layer. So in the data link layer itself, there will be a error correction, right? So that is what the purpose of doing these things, right? Now please understand, if that thing matches in the other case, first scenario is if that thing is not matching, then it is simply rejected by the receiver. And if that thing matches, means the original data is sent by the sender is received by the receiver, right? And in that way, now what is the next role? The next role is to transfer this information to the next layer, to the upper layer, that is known as the network layer. So until then, please understand, until this thing get clarified over here, that information will not going to transfer to the network layer. All information will be filtered out over here only in the data link layer. So that's why this is the top most important layer while we are dealing with transferring of data from one end to another, right? Any doubts, students, till now? You can ask, and just wait, I have to take a screenshot. And till then, remaining students, please, you can mark your attendance by writing present in the chat box. So 2 marks question may come to you from MST point of view, why there is a need of framing and what is the purpose of framing, right? So in that way, you have to explain that I explained right now. Right? So talking about the frames, right? We have these two types. What it says we have a fixed size framing and we have a variable size framing, right? As the name indicates, fixed means and in the fixed size means it remain all the frames will be in the same chunk, right? Whereas variable means they are changing, right? They are not kind of, as we have seen in the periodic waveform, they shape is same, right? So in that way, we are having these two types of framing, that is fixed size and variable, which is changing. Right? Now going into inside, what are the different fields when we are dealing with framings? So these are the few you can see fields that are there in a frame, right? This is very important. So question may come to you, what is a frame, why we are using a frame, and draw the essential fields of a frame, of a single frame. Then you have to tell over here, you can see we having a header, we having a tailor, we having a flags, bits, right, over here. And then we are having the data part, right? So these are the additional information along with the data. These are the additional information along with the data. Our data is in between over here. Try to understand. Along with data, these are the additional information which we are sending, right? So that's why, as we can understand that there could be a different size for the data. So we are storing them. So you can see over here, the data will be stored like this way. Now, in order to secure in a sense that to receive the original data, means that if we have sent this data, then same data will be received on the receiving side. What we did, we are going with this additional fields, right? So just note it down. This is one of the frame which is we are converting when the bits which we have received. So please understand, these bits we have received from the network layer. These are the information which we have received from the network layer, and this is done by the data link layer, the additional fields. So that to provide error correction and detection in the bits which we have from the network layer. Yes, is it clear? Yes. Okay, let's move further. Now, over here, you will see that data from the upper layer that I have told you, that is going to be inserted, right? And we are setting them, right? So if that data does not fit into, it may happen, right? Over here, you can say it may happen that this size does not fit because the information which we receive from the network layer may be less, right? So only this much bytes we are consuming, right? And this much is again left empty, right? So now what may happen that because of attenuation, this may get some signal or this bit turn on or something. So what we need to do, we will set them with some of these flags, right? Over here you can see, right? So that is needed as a part of designing a frame, right? So we will stuff them like this way, stuffing of empty place with some extra bits so that it will not create any issue on the during transmission over a channel, right? So that is again a thing that we need to understand, that we are stuffing and unstuffing them, right? So this is from a sending point of view. So sender, what we will do, sender will stuff them, and on the receiving frame, it will unstuff, right? So that is needed because receiver must understand that these are the information which is just make no sense, because it is only to overcome some kind of attack due to resistance in the transmission medium. As we know, resistance in the transmission medium may happen while transmitting the bits, right? So to avoid that confusion, that conflict, what we did, we stuffed them. The remaining frame, or you can, the remaining place could be easily stuffed by the sender, and the receiver will easily understand that, okay, this place is just for, or is this place is empty. So sender has simply stuffed it, and these are the original bits that need to be identified, right? In that way. So you can see over here that bytes stuffing is a process of adding one extra byte whenever there is a flag or escape character in the text. So how we are doing that thing? With the help of this indicator. One flag. Flag is nothing but an indicator to show that, okay, over here we have to perform stuffing, right? Or escape character, right? One character is there that we are using specially to signify this, right? So this is one complete frame, as you can see, with all the bits enabled and information stored over here, right? So you can see we have this sequence, flag sequence, right? We having header and tailor, and we having a variable number of bits, and this information we receive from the upper layer, right? So this is very important note. Note it. You can commit it to your memory, which says that bit stuffing is a process of adding one extra zeros whenever 5 consecutive ones follows a 0 in a data, right? So this is what it is said, that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 consecutive ones, right? So in that way, what we are doing, we are adding one extra 0 whenever we have 5 consecutive ones for a flag, in order to avoid mistaken, right? There could be, may happen that over here, you can see over here, the flag sequence. And how many ones are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 0 and 6 ones, right? Please understand this point. Now, in our data, this may happen that we may have received the same pattern, that 0, and then we may receive that 5 like this way, or 6 like this way, right? So in order to avoid this conflict between the flag and the data which is there, right? Because otherwise what will happen, that that receiver will confused over here only, that okay, here also same pattern is there, so that means that is a flag which is inside the data sequence, right? So in that way, what will happen? The flag will start from here for a receiver, and that is totally wrong. So in order to avoid this mistake, what we did is we simply follow this sequence like this way. And what it says that whenever we have 5 consecutive one, we will stuff by adding 1 extra 0 in it, right? So whenever this pattern will come, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, another 6, and this may could happen like this way. So in that way, receiver will get confused and say that okay, this is a flag, so close it, and that is not correct. So what we did is we simply replace this thing like this way. What we did is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if we have 6 ones, so what we will do after 5 consecutive ones, what we will do, we will insert 1 0 and then we insert 1. So if the data is that like this 0 1 1 1 1 1 0, sorry 1 and 0 like this, now that data will be look like this. In order to avoid this problem on the receiving side, because this thing is for receiver, so this thing will be mistaken by the receiver, and we need to avoid that, right? So for that reason, we have designed this purpose, and this method is known as bit stuffing. So 2 marks question from MST point of view. What do you mean by bit stuffing and why it is needed? So bit stuffing is nothing but it is a process of adding 1 extra 0 whenever there is a consecutive 5 ones in our data sequence, and along with that, it is also avoid the mistaken return by the receiver, as the pattern will be same as of flag, because by mistaken the pattern in data has become equivalent to flag, and that mistaken may cause that entire wrong reading of data on the receiving side, because now the receiver will think, okay, the data has started on this flag, and in this middle where the same sequence has arrived 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 0, so receiver will think, okay, over here only it has ended, and this information will be left, which is not correct, that we don't want, right? So please remember what is bit stuffing, right, and why we need it, right? So as in this example, you can clearly see that this is the sender, this is the receiver, where we have the data, right? And you can see that we have the flags with 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 and zeros. The flag bit sequence is 0 1 2 3 4 5 6 and again 0, right? Now if the sequence similar to that is coming, right, you can see over here 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, where there could be a chance that 0 may come, right? So what will happen? The receiver on the receiving side will misunderstood, or by mistake it will say that okay, over here this is a flag, which is not correct. This is your flag now, because the sequence is same, 0 then 6 ones and again 0. Now how to avoid this conflict? By adding this 0 after every 5 consecutive ones. So just read it out over here. If we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can see over here, now author has added 0 over here. Right? Then what will happen? Then 1 will come again, and then in the same sequence. Again, if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive ones, then the 0 is added. So these are the extra 2 bits which is added in our data frame for avoiding mistaken by the receiver by mistaking understanding that whether it is a frame or it is a data unit. Right? So this conflict could be easily removed if we are talking about bit stuffing. So that is what the bit stuffing come in picture for your understanding. Right? Yes, class. Any doubt? Let me ask you, few students, please come up, turn on your mic. Yes. Is it clear? Yes, Anmol. Anmol Ponj, are you there? Please turn on your mic. Anjali. Yes, Anmol.
Yes, sir.
The things
Yes,
are clear
sir.
to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Anjali.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Any doubt? No doubt. Karan saying no doubt.
No.
Great. Yes, Keshav. Let me know if you have any doubt. This is very important from MST point of view, like what is bit stuffing, what is the need of framing, why we are doing framing, what is delimiter, what are flag bits, right? You can see over here. So in this manner, question may be come to you for this. Now coming to the original part of this, that is flow control and error control. So these are the two most important tasks of data link layer, that is flow control and error control. Now what is flow control in very easy way? I just want to make you understand that how we are conducting a communication between two entities, that is sender and receiver, right? So whenever sender is ready to transmit, right, it should be like receiver is ready to receive it. Now please understand, if receiver is not in a state to receive the data and sender keep on sending, then all the information we have sent is useless, or you can say is wasted out, because receiver is not in a situation to receive that information, right? Now this technique is basically known as flow control, and not this technique actually, but yes, to control this thing, that receiver is in a situation to receive and sender has always some data to send, and all the data which sender has sent is successfully received by the receiver in a sense. So that mechanism is basically known as flow control, right? So it is very, very important. Let me write over here that this topic is the most important topic, 15 marks question from MST point of view, that what is flow control, what are the techniques for achieving this mechanism, right? What are the different types of flow control that we're going to see in the next couple of days. And this is very interesting. I will let you understand this thing in an easy manner, and it is your lifelong learning kind of thing, right? So as it is said, the most important responsibility of a data link layer are flow control and error control, right? So error control, as we see in the previous slide, that we need to detect it, because there could be a problem in the transmission medium, and over the transmission medium, due to resistance also, or due to some kind of crosstalk, due to some kind of attenuation, noise, or some kind of interference, there could be a chance that the bits which we are transmitting over the transmission medium may turn into an other bits, and that is nothing but that is an error that need to be detected, and that is the task of data link layer. So that's why we are discussing these two things, that is flow control and error control. So in next few days, we are going to discuss these two topics in detail, very much detail. So I request everyone, please don't miss any class. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to continue, right? Now, please understand what is flow control, which refers to the set of procedure used to restrict the amount of data that sender can send before waiting for acknowledgement. Now, see, as in a basic, in a layman language, I just want to tell you that I am saying something over here, and you are receiving over here, right? So that is what there is a flow of data between me and you, right? But if suppose now you have to receive multiple lecture at the same time, you could not able to do that, right? Because you are not in a situation to receive the data, right? So what we need to do, we need that there should be successful delivery of data, information. What we need some kind of mechanism. So what we did, we simply placed them in a timetable. We allotted a time, is a scheduled time. With that scheduled time, you are just receiving that data, right? Otherwise, if all the lectures has been started at 9 o'clock and you have to listen all that thing all together, then there will be a chaos at your side. You could not able to understand the information or the flow of data which is coming from all the directions. Right? The same thing is happening over here. And what way we are using for that, we will come to know in the next few slides, right? So the other topic is error control, and which is in data link layer and is based on some method that is automatic repeat request, which is nothing but if there is an error. So this is a solution. Solution, if there is an error, then what we need to do? If there is an error, that need to be, so before correction, what we need to do? We need to detect it, right? Please understand, detection occur before correction. So if error, so means यहाँ पे हमने detection किया, and if detected, that error is detected, then what we need to do? We need to take some action. And what action need to take? Retransmission of data. That is a solution. That's why I'm saying this is a solution, right? Retransmission of data means the same information is again transmitted by the sender to the receiver, right? So that is known as retransmission, right? So yes, class, we are left with only 1 minute. So I am just closing the night over here. And what I want is, if you have any doubt, you can please come up. I'm waiting for your queries, right? And yes, please, Karan, turn on your mic. Mechanical Karan, are you there? Yes, Karan, any doubt?
No, sir.
Is it clear? Fine?
Yes,
You're getting?
yes, sir.
Okay, great. So I request, if you have any kind of doubt in a previous lecture also, you can please ask. I'm ready to take your queries. Right? And next few lectures are very important. This is your 10 marks question. That is what I am discussing. Very important. Now, these are the protocols that we are trying to understand, talking about flow control. Right? So what are those different flow control protocol? We have simplex method, we have stop and wait, and these two are very important. This is very important, right? So question may come to you, what is the difference between go back and ARQ, automatic repeat request? This is what the solution also. In the previous slide, as I told, this is what automatic repeat request, right? Which is retransmission of data. So if data is not successfully delivered on the receiving side, then there need to be a automatic repeat request, retransmission of data. And how we could do that along with the efficiency, along with improving its efficiency, that is what all these protocols are discussing. That simplex method does not